Here we have two of the absolute treasures of the National Museum of Scotland's Jacobite collections. It is a backsword and a targe, which belonged to Prince Charles Edward Stuart. We believe that these were commissioned by James Drummond, the 3rd Duke of Perth, and sent out to the exile court in Rome as gifts both to Prince Charles Edward and his brother Henry Benedict. They were sent out as the accoutrements for Highland dress. Now, at that time, Highland dress would not just be the tartan or the plaid or the Highland habit, but would also include weapons such as this, the traditional basket-hilted broadsword or backsword, and of course the targe. But these were not designed for warfare. The sword was made by a London silversmith called Candler, and we have every reason to believe that these beautifully decorated silver mounts in the targe were also made by the same hand. The targe is a traditional Highland targe. It is made with wooden boards and pigskin. But there's a story within the targe. The Medusa head already appears in portraiture of Charles's father, James VIII and III. This was to ward off enemies during battle. But if we look more closely at it, we see it is decorated with symbols of power, symbols of classical antiquity, but more importantly, a backsword, a pistol from the time, and also a Scotch bonnet. There, faintly within that Scotch bonnet, on the badge, is the badge of the Order of the Order of the Thistle, which was presented to James Drummond, Duke of Perth, in 1739 by James VIII. We think, therefore, given the date and the closeness of the date, that these objects and the Highland dress that accompanied them were sent out to the court in Rome as a gift of loyalty. There was a great deal of material exchange between the court. Miniatures and portraits came from Rome back to Britain, but this is a good example of a gift fit for a Jacobite prince. We know that Charles Edward was seen in public in Roman society. One account says that after the opera he went to a public ball where he was seen in tartan, which he wore very well. Of course, he wore tartan when he came back to Scotland in 1745, and we know from the archives and from documents relating to this that, in fact, the Duke of Perth encouraged them to be seen arrayed in the same dress, the same habit as the Highlanders. But more importantly, Charles Edward recognised the importance of these objects. For in 1745, he brought them back to Scotland, all the way from Rome through France. They were left rather forlornly in the baggage train in the aftermath of the Battle of Culloden. The targe was rescued by a Jacobite supporter, James Macpherson of Cluny, chief of the Clan Macpherson. The sword, though, fell into the hands of the government and was presented to the Duke of Cumberland. For many years, it was in the Royal Collection. But in 1820, it was presented to the chief and captain of Clan Ranald. So in a way, it come full circle. It was back in the hands of a Jacobite supporter. These, therefore, are extremely important objects, iconic, but more importantly, they link us directly to that exile court in Rome and that final attempt to recapture the kingdoms for his father in 1745 and 6. This portrait of Prince Charles Edward's father, James VIII and III, by Martin van Buitens, was painted in Rome in 1725. There's some interesting connections here, though, to the targe in particular. We can see that James has a Medusa head around his neck, worn as a talisman, this mythical Gorgonzola, this mythical beast, to help the wearer in times of battle, to keep off danger. And of course also the green ribbon, the sash of the most ancient and noble Order of the Thistle, the order that was bestowed upon James Drummond, the Duke of Perth, in 1739, and of course was actually given to both princes as infants not long after their birth. So here we have another visual depiction of the iconography that is so apparent on that wonderful treasure, the targe of Prince Charles Edward Stuart.